Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out getgoodracing.com. I've coached hundreds of drivers, from real-life racers to sim enthusiasts, who experience rapid improvement after just one session. And while investing in top-notch hardware is great, imagine how much more you can elevate your experience by adding coaching to the mix. My methods are practical, aiming to break down complex concepts into easily digestible bits that are simple to understand. You can find reviews of the sessions I've conducted on the Fiverr link provided in the video description. Let's elevate your racing skills together.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, sponsored by Inca Salsa, the premier Formula iRacing League. We're at Donnington Park here tonight to watch 15 Titans do battle. As always, I'm your host, James Eastbury. The action today, 60 frames a second, as qualifying has wrapped up, and it is time to send these drivers out on course for today's main event. As always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up on a separate monitor or device, and if they don't, they just about always go back and watch this thing over. And let's run through the starting order for today. On pole, Ray Aguilar, the number 1 machine. Finley Fitzsimmons starting second. Shazi Zuhair, an excellent qualifying, starting third. AJ Brenner starting fourth. Nick Peterson starts fifth. Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman, starts sixth. Antonio Bianchi, the Italian Stallion, starting seventh. Leo Delmas starting eighth. Felipe Sarkis starting ninth. Eric Fox, Urco, starting 10th. David Iezzi starting 11th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Aussie, starting 12th. Cycled on back. Arturo AI Mayorga starting 13th. Jace Meyer starting 14th. And Carl Hartwell will round out the 15-car grid here today. Waiting on a few more drivers to take the stage before we send them out here at Silverstone. We get ready for the lights to come on, and something has happened. Finley Fitzsimmons is not starting from the line. Eric Fox, Jace Meyer, both starting from pit road, so we've had some sort of big issues here. Fitzsimmons also starting from pit road. The Ray Aguilar is going to get a good start. Shazi Zuhair with Fitzsimmons not on track, starting second. There's the side-by-side battle for third. Antonio Bianchi up 4 spots. A great launch. The number 17 machine has made his way up quickly. He's chased by AJ Brenner, Nick Peterson. The field trying to get in line here. As a little bit further back, I see some action. Xavier Zanave, Leo Delmas, Gareth McAllister in a 3-car battle for the 6th place position. They're chased by David Iezzi, Felipe Sarkis, Arturo Mayorga, Carl Hartwell, all getting in the groove here. Now, drivers were telling us in practice and qualifying, the front end really wanted to push on these Super Formula machines. It was tough to get the machine to turn in. So hopefully that'll get a little bit better for them as the heat starts to come in. A very foggy, overcast day here at Donnington Park. Aguilar up front has quickly built up a 1-second gap over Shazi Zuhair. Heading back up to 4th, there is AJ Brenner, Nick Peterson. Looks like Bianchi's got a little bit of momentum here. He's built up about 0.8 of a second in that 3rd place spot, as Brenner and Peterson stay nose to wing here. Now it's a 16-lap sprint race, followed by a 32-lap main event, a feature event. We had an off-track reported with our good friend Urco. Looks like Carl Hartwell also has issues. Finley Fitzsimmons in the same corner, so there's drivers scattered everywhere. Now, Fitzsimmons, very uncharacteristic, showing a lap down here in the number 16 machine. So having quite the rough go after not making the grid. We're not sure what the reason was, if that was a mechanical or a hardware issue, what the problem might be. Felipe Sarkis going to lose a spot to number 29 of David Iezzi. Iezzi up 2 positions so far, working his way up inside the top 10. And look at the time difference. Aguilar up front, the only driver into the 1:11 minute 11-second lap times here. Running a full 7/10 faster than anybody else out on the circuit. It looks like we have a battle for third shaping up. Antonio Bianchi still holding on to that final podium spot. Has AJ Brenner closing in behind. Bianchi trying to get the toe off of Shazi Zuhair, the number 10, running proudly in second. And Brenner's going to try and pick up the double draft here. Bianchi closing the gap behind Zuhair. Brenner still sitting about a half second back. No, Brenner's going to make a move here, taking advantage of Bianchi's mistake. So Brenner will move up into a third. Shazi Zuhair is going to have a little bit of chance to breathe here in the number 10 machine. The top three starting to stretch out a little bit. I saw a brief off track there from Brenner as well from Antonio Bianchi. Brenner trying to track down Zuhair. He's about 9/10 back, but let's go back to the world famous Aussie, Gareth McAllister. He's got Leo Delmas, the smooth talking Frenchman, trying to work his way up into 7th. Delmas trying to track down the 25. And we got a report. Finley Fitzsimmons has unfortunately crashed out of the sprint race, retiring from this one. Oh, he was missing the front wing from quite early on. Now let's back up a little bit and see if we can decipher where Fitzsimmons lost the wing at. Oh, well, there's your problem. I think that was Eric Fox. Yes, it was also tied up in that one. So Fox will lose at least the rear wing. Let's see, does he have the front? Yes, he does. I thought there might have been contact as well up front with Meyer. But that is what caused Fitzsimmons to plow into the back of that 33 machine and retire from this sprint. Now, a reminder to the fans, if you take a tow back to pit road during the sprinter feature, you cannot rejoin the race. You are done and out. So unfortunately, Fitzsimmons will try and get things back out on track for the feature here. We're watching the 3-car battle for second start to form up. It's Zuhair, Brenner, Bianchi, 1, 2, 3. Brenner all over the back of Zuhair. Here comes Bianchi to interject himself into the fray. Brenner's going to guard the inside line here. We saw Bianchi was on the push to pass. He's going to have a big hole in the air pushed ahead out of his way by Zuhair and Brenner. So keep an eye out on that number 17 machine to see if he tries to work a double pass in this one. Are we going to go side by side for second? Zuhair running defensive. Bianchi throws it in, but not able to make a pass here. Brenner trying every which way he can to try and get around Zuhair's number 10 machine. Side by side we go for second. Zuhair still on the inside line. Brenner trying to carry a little bit more corner speed. Brenner shows ahead by a 10th. Can he get clear? Zuhair cuts back in, not able to get his nose in there. Has to be mindful of Bianchi right behind as well. Looking for any mistake out of these podium drivers. But Brenner's going to try and hammer down here the number 80 machine, try and break away from Zuhair and Bianchi. Oh, and Zuhair has a moment. Was Bianchi involved in that? I think he was, missing the front end of the number 17 machine. That's going to put Nick Peterson, the number 24, up into podium as Zuhair falling down the standings. So let's see what happens here. Zuhair looked like he got a little bit loose. And that is why Bianchi tagged him. So on board, and yeah, Zuhair was just out of shape there. Bianchi nowhere to go. And there was another crash reported as well. with Leo Delmas and Shazi Zuhair. I wonder if they were tied up together here. Folks in on Delmas, number 21. You see car parts scattered about. So is this going to be a solo incident for Delmas? Comes in a little bit hot. Tags Zuhair, and the front wing falls off for Leo Delmas. So another driver. Now, Delmas was able to come back down pit road. There's Xavier Zanave making his way around Gareth McAllister, the battle for fourth. Now, the top three extremely spread out here. It's Aguilar, Brenner, Peterson, 1, 2, 3. As Zanave falls back, must have had some sort of slowdown, so that puts McAllister back up into fourth. And Antonio Bianchi holding on to fifth. Bianchi still missing the wing on that car. So in a night when drivers were struggling with front-end grip, it's only going to get worse for the number 17 machine of Antonio Bianchi. Zanave, after what we believe was serving a slowdown, able to quickly make his way around Bianchi. A little bit further back, Felipe Sarkis, David Iezzi having a battle for seventh. So Sarkis has worked his way up into seventh. He's up now 2 positions. Arturo Mayorga, let me retract that. David Iezzi, Arturo Mayorga, Carl Hartwell, 8th, 9th, and 10th, separated by about a second each. As it looks like Iezzi getting back on the throttle. Here comes Carl Hartwell looking for his 6th pass of the evening. Hartwell sporting the number 79 machine here today at Silverstone. So let's see what happens here. Hartwell still trying to pressure Mayorga. 3/10 separating the two. Your race leader, Ray Aguilar, once again sets the fastest lap of the race. We had another crash reported. This time it's going to be Antonio Bianchi. He's slow on the left side of your screen. Losing spots to Mayorga. And I think Hartwell is going to make quick work of the number 17 here as well, pulling around the outside. Bianchi running very much damaged here. Just trying to salvage some points, number 17. Let's see what happened to him. Yeah, just no front end, and it's just about impossible to get a hold of the car there. Thankfully, he did not come back onto a hot track, stayed off to the side. Bianchi is going to go down pit road as Mayorga and Hartwell continue their battle for 8th. Mayorga now up 5 spots. Hartwell up 6. These are the 2 closest drivers we have out on track. About 0.2 of a second in between the 2. Now, there was an incident up ahead. The flying Frenchman, Xavier Zanave, has been off track for quite a while here. A full 9 seconds finds Zanave off track. Let's see if Mayorga and Hartwell working that draft together can catch up. They're about 1.6 seconds back from Zanave, but seem to be closing the distance quite quickly, as we only have 5 minutes left to go in today's feature event, or sprint race, I should say. While this battle has cooled down ever so slightly, let's see what happened to Zanave here to send him off track. Little bit too much grass. And around it goes. And then Zanave very wisely waited for a clean opportunity. And naturally, as soon as I grabbed that replay, Carl Hartwell makes the pass for 8th against Arturo. Oh, Arturo off into the gravel. Gives Hartwell plenty of space there, number 79, not wanting to risk a collision between the two. Very briefly, it looked like Xavier Zanave was in 1 second of Iezzi, closing the distance there to the number 29. This could be the battle for 6th beginning to unfold. The rest of the field by far and away spread out over 2 seconds. These are the only two drivers within about a second of each other at this point. So it's going to be interesting. If they're this spread out in the sprint, what's it going to spell out for the feature? We had 15 drivers start today's main event. We've whittled it down to only 12 out on the circuit. Is he doing a good job building up a gap over Zanave? Zanave was quick here early on, but I think that off-track and slowdown really put him at a disadvantage. And I think Zanave might be going into maintenance mode here. Unfortunately, we've got Finley Fitzsimmons joining us in the spectator area. The young British driver having quite the disappointing evening here. Hopefully, we'll see him back out on track, that number 16, for the feature coming up here tonight. Still racing going on. Chase Meyer, Leo Delmas. A battle for 10th. Delmas makes the spot, but messes up slightly. Does he get a slowdown here, I wonder? Does not look like it. Looks like Delma's still up on pace. Meyer will fall back to 11th, and the number 20 still up 3 spots from where he qualified. And Meyer on the push to pass to close the distance. And look at that, Ray Aguilar gets down to the 1 minute, 10-second lap times here. Just hot lapping and kind of having his own little private track day here. Now, there's a little bit of traffic on the horizon for Aguilar. The first driver he might catch before the end would be Antonio Bianchi, number 12. Let's pan over to Bianchi. Looks like he did get the rear wing put back on during that pit stop. Making for a much more comfortable Super Formula to navigate the circuit here. There's Ray Aguilar, your race leader. A very comfortable 6.5 second advantage over the rest of the field. Running totally uncontested. Now at this pace, I don't think he's going to run any traffic. I think he's going to be clean and green till the end here. AJ Brenner getting faster in the second place spot. Clicked off a personal best on 111.18. But we're starting to see a few drivers get a little bit more comfortable. The pace is starting to increase here. And now I only see 2 drivers within 1 second of each other as we will unfurl the white flag for Aguilar. this time by once he crosses the start-finish line. Let's check in on Xavier Zanave trying to track down David Iezzi to battle for 6th. White flag is out here at the sprint at Silverstone. And AJ Brenner sitting in second just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 10.56. If he can keep that pace up, we might actually have a battle for the lead going on in the feature event instead of the Monaco-esque race we've been seeing here tonight. A lot of drivers fairly spread out. No driver within 1 second of each other. The closest we have is David Iezzi, Xavier Zanave, 6th and 7th. They're about 1.1 seconds apart. Checkered flag is unfurled and waving at the line. Aguilar, start to finish in the number 1 machine, the hat trick. Gets the pole position, leads every lap, and brings it home in the top spot. But it's going to be AJ Brenner, the fastest lap of the race, in second. And Nick Peterson up onto the podium with a solid 3rd place finish. A very big win there for Aguilar. And we're going to try and get these top 3 drivers up here to victory lane to tell us about their race. We've got Peterson, so now we're just waiting on Brenner and Aguilar to make their way up here to the waiting room. Wait a second. What's going on with the results here? So we've got a report that Aguilar may have received a penalty. We're going to hold here for just a second. So we're on standby right now, trying to wait for the official results. So again, if you're just joining in, it's a very interesting situation. Aguilar was first across the line, but currently it's under review. I see Gareth McAllister has joined us in the waiting room, so I believe we're going to go with how iRacing called it. So we're going to start things off with Gareth McAllister, number 25, out of retirement, up into the podium, and quite an interesting finish.
Yeah, hi James. I didn't expect to speak to you today.
No, this is awesome. You're back up here in the top 3, a clean race car. It seems like a car and track combo a lot of people are struggling with.
Yeah, me included. Honestly, I just basically wanted to keep it clean, and I got lucky with a few people having issues in front of me, and especially right at the end there. Apparently, from what I'm hearing, I think Ray just clipped the inside grass in the final corner, and it gave him like a full black flag when he crossed the line. So I don't know how that works, but apparently that's done what it's done, and I'm sure he feels robbed, and I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, rough night for him. A great night for you, though. Able to bring it home in third. You're going to have a good starting position for the feature. What's the game plan here for tonight?
The game plan is just to keep it safe, James, honestly. I don't really have the pace, I don't think, of some of these guys behind me. I mean, Felipe showed that right in the last few laps, and I was really worried about him catching me. So I'm sure I'll have people right behind me as we head into the first corner, and hopefully I don't hold anyone up too badly.
Awesome. Gareth, we wish you the best of luck in the feature. And before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen?
I mean, I'll give a shout out to pretty much everyone I know, really, at this point. I love everyone, but I will take a special shout out and give it to you too, James, because I know you're leaving us, I believe, by the end of the season, and that makes me very sad, but I understand you're on to bigger and better things, and I wish you luck.
Awesome. Thank you, Gareth. I appreciate you, buddy, and best of luck out there.
Cheers, James. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, bud. That was the ever-so-sweet Gareth McAllister. Join us in third. Up next, we've got Mr. Nick Peterson. Nick, welcome to the second-place spot.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting second place, but here we are.
Well, hey, as you said in the chat, something about certain people never win, but how are you feeling about that race result at the last second?
I mean, I can't be mad about it. I kept it safe throughout the race, and Antonio and Shaji, you know, sometimes you just take each other out. Been there.
I mean, we've seen it plenty of times here at League Zero where wild things happen in the final corners on the final lap, but now you're going to be starting way up front for the feature event. What's the plan to avoid any sort of carnage and keep that number 24 machine rolling at the end of this thing?
Just going to try and stay away from Gareth, and I should be all right.
Oh, famous last words. Nick, always a cool time having you up here. Even cooler to have you up here in second. And before I let you go, who you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen?
Give a shout out to my wife, Laura, for cheering me on tonight.
Awesome. Nick, always a pleasure, bud. Best of luck out there.
Thanks, James.
That was Nick Peterson bringing it home in second. Up next, Mr. AJ Brenner. Join us in the top spot. AJ, were you as confused as I was after the results were posted?
You know, I was in a call with Ray when it happened, and he said a 42-second penalty, and I was like, oh, that's not going to get applied. You know, he just touched the grass, and it all of a sudden reset to P1. So, you know, for a first win, I'll take it. You know, you got to get it somehow, right?
Yeah, I mean, you kept, and that was part of it too. After drivers in practice and quality were having such a difficult time with the front end pushing out here tonight, it was definitely a night of survival, despite how everybody was spread out. And I mean, obviously you had the pace, set the fastest lap, I believe, the lap prior to the white flag. So how are you going to kind of string that together in the feature and try and bring home another win here?
Yeah, on the start, I just was a little bit slow, kind of let a few people by, and then, you know, just got that pace back slowly and had some good battles there. So really just got to get a good launch and kind of keep that consistent pace. And don't touch the inside grass on the last corner is the key here.
Yeah, it seems like that's the name of the game. Hey, the first win is not at Coda, but you're still able to bring some American dominance out here to Donnington Park. And before I let you go, get ready for the feature event. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this win possible for you and the team?
I'll just give a shout out to Squid Gang Racing and Ray Aguilar.
Awesome. AJ, always a pleasure, buddy, and best of luck in the feature.
Thanks, James.
All right, that was AJ Brenner bringing it home in the top spot. Don't go anywhere. We're going to run some commercials, go talk to Race Control, and see what's going to happen next.
Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out getgoodracing.com. I've coached hundreds of drivers from real-life racers to sim enthusiasts who experience rapid improvement after just one session. And while investing in top-notch hardware is great, imagine how much more you can elevate your experience by adding coaching to the mix. My methods are practical, aiming to break down complex concepts into easily digestible bits that are simple to understand. You can find reviews of the sessions I've conducted on the Fiverr link provided in the video description. Let's elevate your racing skills together.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Rick Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 to lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
All right, race fans, welcome back to Donnington Park for the feature event, the way we're going to send off the night. As a reminder to the fans, the grid is set from your sprint race finish. So AJ Brenner, with a bit of an upset, will be starting in the top spot. Ray Aguilar starting 7th after this one. Keep an eye out on Nick Peterson, Gareth McAllister, Felipe Sarkis, David Iezzi. They'll be starting in the top 5 here, and they've got a lot to prove and some fast drivers behind them. Don't forget about Finley Fitzsimmons, the number 16 machine. Wasn't able to make the grid in the sprint and then had quite a bad evening, so he'll be starting last in the number 16, 15th place as we get ready for the lights to turn on and turn off. And we are underway here. Looks like the start's going to be good. Do we avoid any turn 1 shenanigans? No. No is the answer. There goes Nick Peterson. Way off into the weeds. I think I saw his teammate also involved in that one. So Peterson, Bianchi, Mayorga all tied up in that one. That's going to put... Look at this. Finley Fitzsimmons, the opening 3 or 4 corners, has gained 11 spots here. Fitzsimmons driving like a man possessed in the number 16 has nearly started dead last and already has almost worked his way up into a podium position as he's putting the pressure, the smooth-talking Frenchman, Leo Dalmas. Dalmas had a great launch as well. He's up 6 positions. So Fitzsimmons now up into a podium spot. Ray Aguilar trying to follow him here in that number 1 machine. They have made their way around Leo Delmas and Felipe Sarkis, who are now running 5th and 6th. Sarkis keeping the pressure up on Delmas as they go side by side here at the start-finish line. Now, I'm curious to see what Brenner can do. The number 8, he just had his first win. He's got a lot of momentum to build off of. He obviously had the pace in the sprint, but didn't really have the pace till later on. We really got in a groove. And while that's going on, a battle for second. Two old former teammates, Gareth McAllister, Finley Fitzsimmons, doing battle for second. They've got Brenner about 3/4 of a second up ahead. So it's USA, Australia, England, all in the mix here as... What was that? Was that McAllister? No, McAllister throws it away. What happened here? Just lost the back end. Around she goes. And McAllister is going to fall way, way back to the 13th place position. That's going to put Fitzsimmons up into a second place. He's about 1 second back from AJ Brenner, 1.8 ahead of Aguilar. As I think I just saw somebody crash in the background. Is that Eric Fox out of the final corner, I think? Now, this is interesting. Ray Aguilar shows down pit road. Let's see what happened to Eric Fox here. Just missed it a little bit there. So Aguilar in his pit stall, in and out very, very early here. So that's going to put your top 3 as Brenner, Fitzsimmons, Delmas. But Delmas has a fleet of drivers behind him. He's got Zanave, Sarkis, Zuhair, Hartwell, all fairly in tow here. The drivers that have pitted already, Aguilar, McAllister, Iezzi, and Bianchi, all rolling out, taking their mandatory tires as early as they possibly could. Now, a reminder, there's a rule that there is no boxing on the first lap, no pit stops in the first lap, and no pit stops in the final lap allowed for that mandatory tire change. Here's the battle for the lead. AJ Brenner, Finley Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons looking for redemption here tonight. Eric Peterson rolls out of pit road as well as Shazi Zuhair. Here's the battle for first place out on screen. It's AJ Brenner versus the young British driver Finley Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons recently ran a 24-hour karting event this past weekend. So using that real-life track experience to come out here and represent well at League Zero. David Iezzi unfortunately takes a tow back to pit road, so he will be retired from this feature event. Now, these top 2 drivers of Brenner and Fitzsimmons hold a 5-second margin up over Delmas. Delmas about 1.7 seconds up over Xavier Zanave. But as we saw in the sprint race, it is never over until it's over here at League Zero. Felipe Sarkis coming down pit road for his 1 mandatory tire stop. Fitzsimmons had the fastest clean lap last time by. Brenner actually had a 1 minute 11.5 compared to Fitzsimmons a 1 minute 11.55. But Brenner had at least 1 off track on that prior lap, which negates the fastest lap time, does not allow it to count. Brenner holding on to it for another lap here. A 111.69, that's his fastest lap of the race. Fitzsimmons seems to be content following along. They are continuing to build up a gap over Leo Delmas. And right now, first and second, Brenner and Fitzsimmons, the two closest drivers we have out on track. Now, I'm curious to see how things are going to pan out. Aguilar took that early pit stop as Fitzsimmons takes a lunge for the lead here. Dips a tire to the grass. Has to be careful. Oh, Brenner, a little bit of a bobble there. You saw the back end stepping out. So Fitzsimmons staying in hot pursuit. So Brenner going to run a little bit defensively here, keeping Fitzsimmons at bay. I think, though, as long as Brenner shows good pace, Fitzsimmons is going to be mindful of when he tries to strike for the race lead. If Fitzsimmons feels like the pace is good and they continue to build up the rest of the field, most importantly, building up over Aguilar, who sits in ninth, I think Fitzsimmons is happy running second, knowing that Brenner has good pace. That is going to be the big if, the big maybe here, is how the top three is sorted out. Since Aguilar had that very early pit stop, a massive undercut for the number one machine. Fitzsimmons has a run here. Brenner still not going to make it easy. Oh, Fitzsimmons practically touching the gearbox of Brenner. Now sitting back in 8th place, we just talked about him. Aguilar clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 111.3 here. So we're going to keep an eye on those lap times and see what story is told. Jace Meyer rolls out of pit road after an early pit stop. We'll have 14 of our 15 entries out on the circuit. Now let's see what type of lap times Brenner and Fitzsimmons put down here. Our flagman Barney watching on. 11.54 for Brenner. And 11.85 for Fitzsimmons. So still carrying good pace. Aguilar's only gaining about 0.2 of a lap as it stands. That was Jace Meyer. We just saw off track number 20 machine waiting to rejoin so he does not interfere with the battle for the lead. And whoa, Fitzsimmons cutting the grass here at Donnington Park. Missed the mark by a mile. He's going to lose a fistful of time to AJ Brenner. I think Fitzsimmons might have gotten a slowdown there. Aguilar sitting in 8th, another fastest lap of the race, a 111.11. Fitzsimmons a massive slowdown. That's going to put Brenner 2.4 seconds up. Right now, Brenner, a very massive 3.8 second lead up over Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons surely isn't happy being running in the second place position, but it's all about perspective. Finished absolute last in the sprint. I believe it was 10 or 11 positions gained in the first half of a lap here at Donnington Park for the feature. So just has to keep his wits underneath him, keep rocking and rolling, and steadily progressing. There's Aguilar, the number one machine, has caught up to the tail of Arturo Mayorga in the 55. Mayorga having a good run. He's currently up 3 spots, but I think Aguilar is going to try and make quick work of him here. Oh, Mayorga pushes a little bit wide there, holds up on the throttle to avoid coming back into the side of Aguilar. And Aguilar already back up into 7th. Aguilar, I think, is in a good spot here. The top 6 drivers have yet to box. I show a pit lane time for Aguilar when he pitted about 32.88 seconds. The race leader, AJ Brenner, currently about 30 seconds ahead of Aguilar. So Aguilar could still very much be in this if he runs a perfect race. Two closest drivers we see out on track. That's going to be Felipe Sarkis, Arturo Mayorga. You got ER join us. Cheering on Hartwell saying, oh, Hartwell. But hey, Hartwell's still running 5th here, the number 79. Sarkis has made the move against Mayorga. Looks like Mayorga's not going to fire back here. Brenner once again sets his fastest lap of the race, an 11.54 his last time by. Right now, your top 6 drivers have yet to pit here at Donnington Park. We have the mandatory 1 tire stop for these drivers. Let's see what the lap time updates to, and a 111.167 for Brenner. So that'll be another fastest lap of the race there for the race leader. Excuse me, personal fastest lap for Brenner. Fastest lap still held by Aguilar, who sits in 7th. The field very spread out here. Nobody is within 1 second of each other. Let's check back in on race leader AJ Brenner. You can see Fitzsimmons way off in the background, about 3 seconds back here from that number 80 machine. Twelve drivers still out on track after the 15 that have entered. Jace Meyer has put it back behind the virtual waller. Antonio Bianchi's been in his stall for just shy of 4 minutes. David Iezzi has also retired early here. Now, we heard a bit of a wager for some of the drivers coming into tonight that there would be less than 7 drivers who finish today's feature event. It'll be interesting to see if that holds true. If so, that means we're still expecting to lose about 5 drivers. We've got about 4 laps left to go before the halfway mark. Finley Fitzsimmons clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 10 second 0.9. So Jace Meyer letting us know he had a mechanical he had to face here tonight. A brake failure. The pedals disconnected themselves before the green flag was thrown here at Donnington Park. And then once he got to pit road, wasn't able to get them dialed in time. So a big bummer for Jace Meyer, who was starting to get in the groove. Speaking of groove, Ray Aguilar immediately answers Finley Fitzsimmons' fastest lap of the race with 1/10 in the favor of Aguilar. He clicks off a 1 minute 10 second 0.8. So we're going to have some racing by the time it's all said and done. Brenner's still running well up front, but Fitzsimmons starting to slowly close the gap here. So Fitzsimmons ripping a 1 minute 10 second 0.54 his last time by. Let's see, can Fitzsimmons continue to close that gap there behind Brenner? Now still, the top 6 drivers have yet to pit. So I'm curious to see where Aguilar is going to be by the time the pit cycle is finished here. And Fitzsimmons way off track there. He was on the ragged edge trying to track down Brenner. Is he going to get a slowdown here? He's about 1.4 seconds back from the incident. We're keeping an eye on the time split to see if he rapidly bleeds off some time here. Doesn't look like he's losing much. So unfortunately, or fortunately I should say, it looks like Fitzsimmons did not receive a slowdown for the off-track penalty there. Handing back to Ray Aguilar, finds himself racing with Eric Fox, our good friend Urko, for 6th. Fox up 8 spots from where he started. Aguilar trying not to get slowed down here too much. Still waiting to see when Brenner's going to opt to come down pit road. Fitzsimmons starting to close the gap within 0.9 of a second of your race leader. It's going to be interesting to see if we have a race shape up here by the time it's all said and done. Fitzsimmons, the fastest lap of the race last time by a 1 minute 10 second .43. But he's been on the ragged edge. Can he hold it together to make it till the end here, keeping the pressure up on Brenner? There's traffic on the horizon. That is going to be Arturo Mayorga hopping out of the way. Next will be Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Aussie, who finds himself getting the blue flag here. Fox rolls out of pit road. Arturo Mayorga down pit road. Here comes Fitzsimmons within a half second of AJ Brenner. While that was going on, we had a crash reported. The 4th place driver, Xavier Zanave, had an incident. There's lap traffic on the horizon for Brenner and Fitzsimmons. That's going to be McAllister, who's going to hop out of the way here to not interfere with the battle for the race lead. Tip of the hat to the world-famous Aussie. He's running 11th, saw that the leader's coming by, and did not want to get tied up in that one. So looks like the battle for the lead is not going to have any lap traffic ahead of them here. Both drivers' pace, both Brenner and Fitzsimmons had to slow down slightly dealing with the traffic. Now, while this has been going on, your top 3 have yet to box. Brenner, Fitzsimmons, Delmas, 1, 2, 3, with Brenner and Fitzsimmons battling for the lead. But who's been slowly closing the gap is Ray Aguilar, sitting now in 4th. Oh, and a big bobble there for Fitzsimmons. Off track, I couldn't see. It looked like there was an incident there. As they went back and forth, was there contact, I wonder? No, just Fitzsimmons was slightly offline. And surely he's going to get quite the slowdown for that one. Now showing about 1.3 seconds back from Brenner. And Fitzsimmons, again, getting more off-tracks reported here. Trying to very quickly close that gap to Brenner. But back and forth, Aguilar, again, the fastest lap of the race, a 1:10.37. Now we are past the halfway mark here tonight. So this is going to really come down to how quick some of these drivers are on pit road, I think. Fitzsimmons has whittled it back down to 8/10 behind Brenner. Can he do it? Can he close that gap to the race leader? Brenner a 1:11 flat. Fitzsimmons a 1:10.54. Now let's see what it is for Aguilar this time by. Again, last time Aguilar set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:10.37. Will we see a high 1:09 by the time today's feature is over? The fuel will be continuously dropping throughout today's race. There's no refueling in the Super Formula. Aguilar does not best his fastest lap, but still carrying fantastic pace here. Brenner still holding on strong, a 3/4 of a second advantage up over Fitzsimmons. But I'm very impressed that Fitzsimmons has been able to close that gap so much. Six tenths now separating the race leaders. Leo Delmas comes down pit road for his one scheduled stop of the evening. Fitzsimmons still running strong in second, about still 6/10 back from Aguilar. Brenner's down pit road. Fitzsimmons opts to stay out here. Going a 1:10.888 his last time by. Looks like that's going to be a clean lap time. So now your top three, Fitzsimmons, Brenner, Aguilar, and I see an off-track reported for Aguilar after Brenner's pit stop. Aguilar is about 2.2 seconds back. I'm wondering now, did Aguilar have some sort of damage? Did he have to have a wing replaced during that early pit stop on lap 1 that kind of forced an unplanned undercut there for the number 1? Aguilar is closing the gap to Brenner, your new race leader, Fitzsimmons. He's down pit road. So now, Aguilar up into the top 3. Fitzsimmons showing about 2.2 seconds up over Brenner. But now Brenner might be facing fire from Aguilar. So we've got possibly a 3-car battle for the lead starting to shape up. About 9 laps left to go here at Donnington Park. And for the first time in a long time, you see all top 3 drivers in the same frame here. Brenner and Aguilar separated by about 0.4 of a second. Are these two going to work together and try and track down Fitzsimmons? Or is it going to be elbows out in the battle for second? 8 laps left to go here. And Aguilar is ripping along the circuit. Brenner is going to make it easy for him with an off track. Aguilar up into second is going to keep hammering down here. So now we're going to see, can Aguilar overcome adversity? Had a gut-wrenching result in the sprint, having a win ripped from his hands after a massive lead at the start-finish line. And he just clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:10.167. He is absolutely ripping here. Showing why he has that number 1 plate on the car. So Aguilar, 1.2 seconds back from the race leader. Fitzsimmons also looking for redemption. I saw a little bit of a tire smoke, signaling possibly a lockup there from the number 16. Fitzsimmons also has his redemption story. He's up 14 positions. This is going to be good here. We had another crash reported. Unfortunately, it's going to be Felipe Sarkis finds himself in a precarious position. Trying to see who he was tucked in behind there. I can't quite tell if that was Zuhair or Peterson ahead. And Sarkis just a little bit too much brake, send it around. There's your race leader, Fitzsimmons. No, he almost throws it away there. This is going to give Aguilar the striking opportunity he was looking for. We've got 6 laps left to go, and Fitzsimmons almost bends it here. Aguilar, within a 10th of a second, pulls up alongside Fitzsimmons, trying to muscle his way, but Fitzsimmons runs very defensive here. This is going to be good. One little bobble from these top 3 drivers could put AJ Brenner back in a position to get his 2nd ever win. What a night it would be if he could do it back-to-back here. This is going to be quite the finish. Aguilar still hunting for the race lead here. Did not want to get caught up with a possible moment there as Fitzsimmons had to collect the car underneath him. About 6/10 separating the two. Is Aguilar going to play it safe and trying to bring home a 2nd and re-score some points here? Or is he willing to risk it for a race win in the feature? Now, coming into tonight, Aguilar had a 5-point advantage over Finley Fitzsimmons' teammate. Fitzsimmons came into tonight sitting in 4th, so Fitzsimmons could really use the points of a win here to get him back into the chase. Fitzsimmons a full 2nd up over here at Aguilar. Has Aguilar backed it off? We wait for the lap times to update. It's a 1:10.08 for Fitzsimmons, far and away the fastest lap of the race. Aguilar about 3, almost 4/10 slower. Let's call it 3/10 slower than the race leader. Maybe Aguilar's thinking championship at the forefront of his mind. It's a long series of trying to defend and get back that number 1 plate. Aguilar starting to close back up within 7/10 of your race leader, Fitzsimmons. A 1/2 second now separating the top 2 drivers. They've gained just about a 4-second advantage over AJ Brenner. But with just a few short laps left to go here tonight, this could very well be a 2-car shootout at the end. I will say the racing's a little bit better than we were expecting coming into tonight. And look at that. Aguilar gets into the 109s here at Donnington, a 109.890. That is absolutely screaming in a super formula machine around this circuit. A few short laps left to go. Is this going to be the start of a charge for Aguilar? Fitzsimmons still holding the race lead, about 7/10 up over Aguilar. Losing about a 10th there. Aguilar on the throttle. Looks like Fitzsimmons can't quite tell if he's out of push to pass or if it's in a recharge zone. But Aguilar on the throttle within 4/10 of a second here. This may be the charge from that number 1 machine. There's lap traffic up ahead. Boat driver's a little bit of a rear end swap. Aguilar's on the push to pass. Looks like Fitzsimmons is on a recharge, a forced recharge. Again, Aguilar on the 109s. Fitzsimmons a 1 minute 10 flat. The pace is starting to increase. Could the forced undercut strategy work for Aguilar here? He pulls up alongside Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons guards the long way around, but Aguilar throws it in deep to the next corner. Aguilar ahead by 0.04 of a second, make it 0.05. Aguilar now has the defensive line. Fitzsimmons having to go the long way around. A bit of a tail swap there from Aguilar. Able to hold on to an Aguilar. Overcoming adversity, back up into the race lead here. He's only less than 0.2 up over Fitzsimmons. A big lock up there from Aguilar. Fitzsimmons drives it into him. Both the top 2 drivers around. Fitzsimmons has lost the front right. Could AJ Brenner get the back-to-back wins? There's car parts being thrown everywhere. It's a yard sale here at Silverstone. There goes Brenner up into the race lead. Is Aguilar's car all right to make it to the end? It's the final lap here at Donnington Park. AJ Brenner looking to get his first ever back-to-back win here at League Zero. Twice has Aguilar been robbed of a race lead or a race win in one night. Fitzsimmons comes down pit road. Gets the car serviced, but that's going to move Shazi Zuhair up into 3rd. Leo Delmas now up into 4th. And AJ Brenner, a gift from the iRacing gods, 1.7 seconds up over the rest of the field. And oh my goodness, Fitzsimmons throws it away after leaving his pit stall. Checkered flag is unfurled. And no, he doesn't throw it away, just has some sort of mechanical. Checkered flag is out here at League Zero, the feature event. AJ Brenner, for his first time in his career, makes it back-to-back. Picked up his first win ever in the sprint. Picks up his first ever feature event right after. And immediately bends it in celebration. And he is absolutely ecstatic here. Ray Aguilar is going to get 2nd. And Shazi Zuhair going to pick up the 3rd here tonight. So we're going to wait for the official session to end. Last time we thought the results were locked in, and boy, were we far from it. We're waiting for the official results to come in, and once everybody crosses the line, I think we're just waiting on Carl Hartwell sitting in 8th. As it looks like we've got the results here, so let's check it on the tab before we start getting drivers. Yeah, it shows AJ Brenner, Ray Aguilar, and Shazi Zuhair, your top 3 here tonight. What a wild night. Waiting on, looks like we've got Shazi Zuhair here, so we're going to put that away for a second and make sure Zuhair is loud and proud on screen. So up first, 3rd place finisher, Shazi Zuhair. Zuhair, comeback story, up 10 positions, a clean race car, and then the sea parted in front of you, and you're able to snag a podium here.
Yeah, James. It's good to hear your voice again. But yeah, first race was kind of messy on my end. Apologies to Antonio there. Kind of messed up my entry into that chicane and just kind of slowed down there. But yeah, the second race, just try to stay clean, keep the car in one piece, and it worked out, thankfully.
Now, Shazi, did the car start to behave a little bit better for you guys as the night progresses? Because we're hearing a lot of complaints in practice and quality about a front-end push from these machines.
Yeah, it was pushing quite a bit, especially turn one was tough for me. And then in the middle of the stint, it got a bit slippery as well. But I was kind of taking it pretty conservatively anyway. I wasn't trying to push, so it didn't affect me too much. But yeah, the discussions I heard were there's some push. Some people are experiencing oversteer. I think it's just the track and the way people are driving the car. It's just very sensitive.
Well, Shazi, good to have you back up here in the top three. Always a pleasure talking to you. Before I let you go and unwind from this one, who do you want to give a shout to that helps put you up here in the top three?
As always, big shout out to my wife and my cat, and then also a big shout out to you, James. Thank you for putting on a great show, and also to everyone in the league as well for putting on great racing every Thursday.
Awesome. Shazi, always a pleasure, bud, and hopefully we'll have you back up here next week.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, sir. That was Shazi Zuhair bringing it home in third. Up next, we've got Ray Aguilar, the number one machine. Ray, I know you've got championships on your mind, but man, is this going to be a white-knuckle season with the way your luck's been going.
Yeah, this I needed to maximize nights like this, maximize my points delivery, and didn't happen. I don't know. I'm hoping maybe with some appeal and some prayers above, I might be able to get that sprint race win back, but
that was absolutely gutting. We were, I was at a loss up here in the booth. I was trying to check racing results, trying to talk to race control, and I felt like nobody really understood quite what was going on. But you came into tonight with a little bit of a points lead over Elliott. Obviously, he's not here tonight. Antonio Bianchi was in third. So despite how this evening went with the sprint and then another win rod from the feature, still, I would say a good points night all in all.
Yeah, I think I did the best I could with the kind of lightning bolts that hit me tonight. I'm really worried about the team points championship. That's what I'm focused on this season. We really wanted to bring that home, get Squid Gang up there, get them a team win. But if I keep doing this kind of stuff, we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to go back to the factory, get on the computers, get in the wind tunnel, try to figure something out.
Well, Ray, glad you're able to get up here and kind of fight back through the adversity here tonight. It's still a good, solid second place. And before I let you go unwind and file those appeals, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen here?
First and foremost, I want to thank Taco Bell. This new avocado sauce that you have to buy was kind of what kept me from being in the back tonight. I think I would have been a lot further back without it.
Good.
Yes, for putting on a good show. You guys always put on a great show. And I want to thank my teammates for helped me train this week and getting the times down and everything else. Jaden couldn't be here, but he was here in spirit and helped me get where I am today.
Awesome, Ray. Always a pleasure, buddy. A good time talking to you, and congratulations on a second in the feature.
I love you too.
He's so nice. That's Ray Aguilar bringing it home in second, but check this out. The man, the myth, the legend, picked up the first ever win in the sprint. How is back-to-back to cap off an evening?
Man, it feels pretty awesome. I had some good pace on the first stint, and I was doing great defending, and then I don't know what happened, but Finley had a great pit stop, got out a second and a half above me, and I couldn't get the tires going. So, I'm glad they collided there a little bit and got a little back-to-back win there, man.
Yeah, that is quite. It's one thing to pick up the first win, but it's an amazing feat to have the first ever back-to-back or second win all in the one night. I don't think I've seen that happen before, at least in years here at League Zero, but it was all about attrition. You obviously had great pace. Once that incident happened between Aguilar and Fitzsimmons, did you kind of back off a little bit just to play it safe?
Once Ray had damage, I could see his side pod when I passed him. I knew there wasn't going to be much challenge, and Finley was completely out, so we had about a 30-second gap behind us. So at that point, I'm just saying, bring it home and don't touch the inside grass in the last corner, and we're safe.
Lessons learned the hard way here at Donnington. But AJ, this is a new one for you. But tonight you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout to that made both the sprint and the feature win your first back-to-back first ever wins at League Zero happen for you?
To Squid Gang Racing. Give a shout out to Fabian, Felipe, Ray, Jaden, all the guys in the background always helping out, kind of working with each other. Great dudes. Always a great time, and always appreciate all the work, James.
Awesome. Thank you, AJ. Congratulations again, and hopefully we'll have you back up here next week to keep that momentum going.
Yeehaw.
That was AJ. I wish we were at Coda. Brenner bringing it home in the top spot. Not only his first win ever here at League Zero, but his first back-to-back. And he was accompanied by Ray Aguilar in second and Shazi Zuhair rounding out the top three. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, Get Good Coaching, Inca Salsa, and of course Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name has been James East. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.